Welcome, everyone. Brian, Rod.
Yeah, great to see everybody jump on. Can't wait to see the faces.
Larry.
Yeah.
My camera's flaky.
See a lot of names.
Open up, yeah. Larry, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much. How y'all doing?
We're good. Good to connect with you.
Likewise. It's been a moment.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, there's Jeff.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. How about yourself?
Things are good. Things are good.
I think it's the first time I've seen you in 2024.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Happy New Year.
Well, thank you. Likewise.
I see Brian's on. Hey, Brian. And it looks like Rod.
Hello.
We have Roderick Photo, I'm imagining.
Yay.
Yeah.
Give it another minute.
We had several others register.
Yeah, I will. So while we're waiting for other people to come in, take a minute in the chat because there'll be people that don't really know one another. So I'm just curious if you can leave in the chat, like, where are you located and what's the weather like where you are right now? Been enjoying this string of sunshine here in Ohio, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful out today.
People coming in.
Hello, Deborah. Glad that you got connected here. Yay, hi.
Okay.
Hey.
Deborah, we're putting in where we're from and what the weather's like there in the chat.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh,
That's what
Pennsylvania. I'm in Pittsburgh. This has been the best winter ever in my life. I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, and I remember 3 feet of snow and staying home from school. I have never seen a winter like this. I'm loving it. And it seems like they're getting our weather down south more.
Right. That's so weird.
Yeah, this is very weird. God is doing things.
Manuela, welcome. Another one from Pittsburgh.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Good to have you connected today.
Yes, good to be connected. I got a new laptop and I was having a little tech trouble and I said, well, let me just use my phone. But I'm here.
Glad you're here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and if people hop on, we'll let them in. But I'm excited to kick off today's call, so I'm gonna bring up a few things before we get started, and I hand it over to Megan to introduce our amazing speaker today. So let me pull up these slides. So welcome. If you weren't expecting this to be a noble Zoom call, you might be in the wrong place. But if you were expecting a noble call, then you're in the right place. So I just want to say welcome to today's call. Welcome to Noble. For those of you that don't know, Noble is a network of owners, business leaders, and entrepreneurs. And really, our mission is to help people, whether they're entrepreneurs or leaders, to really not only find their purpose, but to help them actually live out that purpose, both as leaders and as entrepreneurs. And this is an amazing community to be a part of. People that love the Lord, love business, and are trying to make an impact in this world. And so that's what Noble's about. And right now we have kind of a pathway that we like to take people on, and we found that people are on one of these 4 seasons of life in their business or as leaders. So we have 4 areas: noble knowledge, noble growth, noble leadership, and noble abundance. Noble leadership, noble abundance are 2 programs that we are excited to get up and started this year. And so we're kind of working to get those up and running. But really, we want to be able to help people at their different stages of their business and where they are in life as leaders. Few housekeeping things. We love to see your faces. I know sometimes it's not easy, or you're not in a place to do that, but if you can have your camera on during this time, we would love to see your faces, and it just helps with engagement, and it's just nice to see just people's participation. We are recording today's session. Also, with all presentations, I'm excited about these times where we can come together. So turn off all distractions, and it's an hour of your time to come and learn and grow and to apply what you've learned. And so we just ask that you try to turn off all distractions, just so you can focus in this hour of time. And again, please no autopilot bots on these Zoom calls. We will remove those if we see them. So please try to avoid doing that. And so now I'm going to bring up this picture of our amazing speaker, and then I'm going to hand everything over to Megan.
Thank you. Okay, I'm off mute. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm pleased to introduce today's Noble Forum guest speaker, who's going to be Tammy Fink. Tammy supports established business owners while they grow their businesses by focusing on client experiences and retention strategies. Tammy has over 30 years of experience in marketing, events, and graphic design. She's had the opportunity to work with many startups and created over 5,000 design products, including, but not limited to, brands such as Hershey's, Cinnabon, Hewlett-Packard, and many more. She's the author of Wow Factor, where she teaches those basics of how to use unique client experiences to blow your clients' minds and reduce client churn. In just a few minutes, I've had the opportunity to speak with her. Her energy and excitement is infectious and engaging, and we're so excited to have her here with Noble. So, Tammy, take it away.
I love that. I'm going to jump in here and share my screen. Not sure if I'm pinned to the top or where I'll be located, but I'll be floating around here at some point. I am super thrilled to be here. I'm just so excited. This is one of my big topics that I just absolutely love to talk about. So we're going to just jump in. One of the things that I want to get started with, first of all, is, do you know there are brands out there that you absolutely love, and there's brands that we absolutely hate? And I'm sure that there's some brands on here that you all have stories about, that you've talked about, that you've referred other people to. But today I'm going to talk about a brand that I absolutely love. And I know there's going to be people that are going to either love or hate this, but I am an absolute Starbucks addict. I love it. So you're either, if you'll answer in the chat, put if you're a Starbucks junkie or maybe you're Dunkin' Donuts, because usually you're in one or two of those fields for the people who are avid coffee drinkers. So throw that in the chat. Let us know which side of the fence that you stand on. But I love coffee, and that's been one of the things that I've had to fight with all the time. But you know what? Coffee is such a major brand, and especially in the entrepreneur space, you're going to see it everywhere. And so many people there talk about Starbucks, and comedian Tim Hawkins even sang a song about it. And yes, you didn't know that this is where you were going to be today, but this is where you are. So I'm going to sing part of his song for you because I just absolutely love where it goes. So, hello, coffee, my old friend. I've come to order you again. I hear the grinding of espresso beans. I need a double shot of pure caffeine. And the indie band on the speakers soothes my brain. So I'll remain within the sounds of Starbucks. Thank you. Thank you very much. That, my friends, is how they've convinced us that 50 cents worth of coffee has a street value of $8. So, you know, we're all into this. We're all into this together, and we understand where we have our brands. I have a friend who absolutely, when I say I'm addicted, she is way out there on the Starbucks junkie. She actually orders the same thing every time she goes, and she's there 3 or 4 times a week. So I was kind of surprised when I saw her on Facebook and she was doing rant-splaining how she loves Starbucks, but you know what? She's grown to hate the Starbucks near her house. And so I asked her, what's up with that? And she said, they constantly get my order wrong. She said, they don't call me by the right name. She said, I didn't understand why. She said, I order the same thing every time. She says, I go in and I order my Trenta black tea lemonade, super light ice, 3 Splendid, no simple syrup, and a bacon double smoked bacon sandwich with no cheese. I order the same thing every time, but they get it wrong. She even complained to the manager. They gave her a $20 gift card. She gave him one more try, and she said, that's it. I just can't deal with it anymore. See, I spoke to her a little while, you know, and I could have understood if she had converted to Dunkin' Donuts by that point, because, you know, who would have blamed her? But she'd have to explain to the folks over at Dunkin' that by Trenta, you know, she meant the 31 ounce big gulp size coffee. So there was a lot of languaging behind it. There's a lot of things to the brands that we love, but she was probably about to do that. But then she discovered another restaurant, another Starbucks just across town. And she said, that was amazing. She said, all of a sudden she would come in and they would recognize her by name, right? They would get her order right every time. She said last week when she was in there, she said she walked through the doors. They welcomed her into the store, asked her if she would like to have her regular black tea lemonade, super light ice, 3 simple syrup, no Splenda, and a double smoked bacon sandwich with no cheese as her regular order. She was back in love with Starbucks again. She didn't want to change brands because she loves Starbucks, but she did want a better customer experience. And I think as we kind of look at the things that we offer to our clients, maybe they're looking for a better customer experience. Maybe that's how you get those clients. But where do you start? Where do you start developing a customer experience? And what does that even look like for your company? So I suppose you could offer, you know, stellar customer service. We're all about that, right? Everybody wants that. Maybe you could do something completely unique and special. But maybe now you're thinking, hey, Tammy, there's nothing new about my business. Maybe it's the same business. I've talked to real estate agents. I've talked to insurance people. They all sell the same thing. How can they make their brand different and unique, right? So people say there's nothing new. maybe I'll do that someday when I'm a bigger business. I know we probably have some people. How long have y'all been in business? Maybe put that in the chat. Go in and write down how long you've been in business. You know, I've been in business myself for over 20 years. And I know it can be difficult where you're thinking, oh my gosh, you know, everything's been done. Can't we come up with, how do we come up with something new and unique? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a child of the 80s. I will say, I know that there's some others out there as well, but there was a product in the 80s that I want to talk a little bit about because this makes such a big difference in a way that you're not going to really expect. So how many of you recognize this? Do you know that the Rubik's Cube was one of the top selling toys, right, of all time? It was never intended on being a toy. That wasn't why it was created. Ernu Rubik actually created this in the late 70s, and it didn't even come into the market until sometime late 70s, early 80s, that it even became part of a toy. And let me tell you about this. There's only one solution to the Rubik's Cube, right? There's only one solution. But there's over 43 quintillion possible ways to mix up a Rubik's Cube. I'm going to need a lot more coffee to figure out what a quintillion looks like. But I'm going to tell you, it's a lot. And if I ask you to take a Rubik's Cube, and if we were in person, I'd have you a Rubik's Cube. But if I ask you to take a Rubik's Cube and you took 1 second to mix the cube, to turn it, right, to change the direction of it, it would take you over 1 trillion years to get through every possible combination. 1.37 trillion years. For those of you mathematicians out there that's keeping track in our numbers, people, that's over 300 times the age the Earth is now. So here's the thing with that, right? You're like, so what does that have to do? If I had volunteers and we all mixed these cubes and we all stood side by side and we did it for 5 minutes, none of these cubes would match. It's the same product. It's the same idea, but none of the cubes would match. In fact, it's so unique. Your cube that you would hold in your hand is so unique based on statistics, for those of you keeping track. You would have a completely unique customer experience that no one on the planet since the existence of the cube has ever created and mixed up the cube the exact same way. Right? Is that a little bit mind-blowing? Because it was to me. And I got to thinking about it. What can you do, right? Again, this was not a toy. This was not something that was created. A little backstory on it for our entrepreneurs. This was a 3D model of geometry. That's how boring this was. Ernu actually took some pieces of wood and some rubber bands, and he was constructing this for a class project for the people that he taught, right? This is what it was going to be. The toy manufacturers, when somebody said, hey, this is a cool puzzle, the toy manufacturers said, nobody's going to buy this, right? No, this is not, it's too hard. I'll tell you how hard it was. After Ernu put it together, it took himself 3 months to solve his own cube, and he knew how to do it. I mean, he knew how it was put together, right? The public wanted something different than the toy trade manufacturers could have even imagined. And so he was able to take that idea and say, I'm going to put it forward. I'm going to see what my people think. And that's part of this idea is, what are your people telling you? What do they know? What business are you in? One of my favorite quotes, you know, you need to put your customers first, right? Listen to what they want, and they can help you make some of the most important decisions about your business. You know, you just need to start engaging with this client-centric perspective. Start thinking about them first, not necessarily what we have to offer, but what do they want from us and what are they enjoying about working with us? Truett Cathy, the owner of Chick-fil-A, said he was never in the chicken business. He was always in the people business. And if you've been around sitting in the drive-through, as well as they have it orchestrated, you know this is a very successful business model. People want chicken, even on Sundays. Don't get me started, because I always want it on Sunday. It never fails, but we appreciate what Troy to put together for us. So one of the ways that we can do this unique customer experience is to deliver more wows in our business, right? So you get really, really good at wow moments. And wow moments are the opportunity to create wow responses from your tribe, from your clients, from your community, whoever you're doing business with. How can you create wow moments, things that are unexpected? People kind of want wow to stand for something, and it does in a lot of places. In this, it's simply that piece of like, wow, somebody thought of me, right? Somebody put the pieces together. And we're not talking about your mama's swag. Let me say that from the get-go. I've had 30 years of design and marketing experience, and swag is amazing, right? But creating a brand, I have never gone to the coffee mug for the pin to get the phone number off of the guy that I got this at the trade show for. We're not talking about swag. We're not talking about things that you can just give them. In fact, people want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. They want to be a part of your story more than they want to be a part of your brand, right? That may be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it. People want to be a part of that story, and it's been proven time and time and time again. So create the opportunities to wow your clients. Give them something to talk about. If you want them to be talking on social media about you, about what it is you offer, give them that something to talk about, right? So around here, we measure everything in M&Ms. Everyone gets M&Ms. But let me tell you, it's not the M&Ms that you're thinking. These M&Ms are things that are meaningful and memorable, right? They can be digital, they can be in real life, they can be a lot of cool things. I'll tell you a quick story that I absolutely love, and I'm going to ask you, everybody sitting around their desk or their living room, whatever, is there something within reach that you can reach out and grab that is something that's unique and different, something that nobody else will probably have on the screen? And I want you just to kind of show it, put it up in the screen and just kind of show just something different, something that's like, hey, this is kind of cool. I love that. So, looking at the things that you have around you, this little car, I actually wrote, when I wrote the wow factor, this car is in the wow factor. I was in an event 7 years ago in Austin, Texas. The speaker at the event, her name was Heather Gray. She spoke about staying in your own lane. And before that she started speaking, she brought out these big boxes, and inside the boxes were these Hot Wheels cars, and we got to pick our own, whatever it was. Of course, this was a very graphic, so that's what I put. Let me point out, this car doesn't have her name on it, doesn't have her brand anywhere on this. But because this was something we made meaningful and memorable, it's set on my desk. I know where I was 7 years ago, who was speaking, and I know what her topic was, right? Again, maybe another mind-blowing moment. But it is something that doesn't have to be crazy expensive. It does have to be M&Ms, meaningful and memorable. And these are the things that really connect with your people, right? What do they call? A lot of people, they have names for the people in their memberships. They talk about it all the time. They talk about, how are they relating and how are they connecting? And that's something that you can really tie into. When we talk about meaningful, it's what results does the end of your program, when they get done working with you, what results are you offering? And that is a key secret to creating some of these wows, because you can take that end result and work your way backwards, right? You can put that together so that it makes a difference for the people that you're serving. What do you offer? What will it mean to them, right? When you're talking memorable, ask yourself, what can you tie to the experience? I use a Rubik's Cube. I use a Rubik's Cube all the time to tie in the experience of what it's like working with me and for people to be able to connect to my message. And so that's really easy. The Hot Wheels cars, there's all sorts of really cool things. And if you can't think, I'm going to give you a link later on that'll help you think of how you can create these amazing wow moments in your community or in your business. And it doesn't matter if you're brick and mortar. It doesn't matter if you're virtual. It doesn't matter if you have retreats once a year. There's always, every business, regardless of what you have, every business has 3 times you can connect with your clients. And I'll share that secret with you. There's a lot more, but there's always the beginning, the middle, and the end of working with you. And you can use those pieces to really figure out what can you do to make a milestone happen. So we're going to break down our client-centric framework in 3 areas for you. We're going to talk about culture, we're going to talk about experience, and we're going to talk about connection. See, you thought it was all about coffee and fluff, but we've got some really good stuff here that we will talk about and really kind of bring you into the picture. And I'm going to be really conscientious and watch my time. If we do have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And I think Megan's going to keep tabs on those for us so we can swing back at the end and kind of address a few things. But this is going to be kind of fast going through it, but we're going to get there. Just hang out with me. So when we talk about these, this is going to help you focus on areas that you may not be considering important right now, but maybe your clients could receive massive impact if you did focus on one of these 3 areas. Again, culture, experience, and connection. So let's start with culture. This is your client culture. And I want you to know your people, right? Know who your people are. Now, maybe you're just starting and you haven't decided who your people are. When you get one customer that you are so excited to work with, you would work with them for free. Don't tell them that, but you would work with them. Those are your people. Those are the people that you really, really want to really tie into. It doesn't exclude everybody else, but it gives you some place to actually start. So know your people. Ask them questions. Solve their problems, have their considerations, their big audacious goals, have them go in and figure out where they can actually connect with you and help you to help them, right? Know who your people are. That makes a big difference. You want to have a giver's heart in your community, right? You want people around you that have this giver's heart. They are so much fun to be with, and it really helps you to help them. So you're looking for those people. You want to have a small, exclusive inner circle, right? These are the people that you want to surround yourself with, that you want to work with all the time. You're going to create connections. You're going to talk with them. You're going to know if they're coffee or tea drinker. You're going to know if you need to stop by Starbucks, you need to be grabbing them an extra coffee. You need to know who the people are that you're working with. Find these helpful people to be a part of your business, whatever that looks like, because they're going to also help spread the word, because they're going to love you, right? But know that you have those people, because you're going to give back to those people too. Engage with your people, right? Go in, don't be boring, promote play. Oh my gosh, here in Branson, we just discovered one of the things I want to do is have events here for people who want to do events. But we just discovered an adventure land here that has rope climbing courses, and they do rock climbing, and they do all of these team leadership building activities that would be so much fun to have a group come in and do those things. What are those things that are located close to you that you could do with your people? Do something that's fun and exciting. Build these connections. Again, build the connections. You're going to hear that over and over again, but it's so important. Gamify your activities, even in your customer or your client journeys. Figure out what that looks like. Again, if you don't know how to figure that out, we can talk. Look at your customer journey and figure out where are these places that you can make it a lot of fun. You know, I talk about it in here, but we want to do things that motivate, celebrate, or inspire your clients. Look at those places that you can actually bring people into your world and help them have a really, really good time. We're going to talk about hospitality. When I got into this business, I thought, doesn't everybody understand hospitality? Isn't that a thing? If you were going to invite people over, and not everybody does. They want to, they might think about it, you know, or they may not think, I'm just not good at hospitality. But this is something that is going to make a huge difference in your business, not only from the people who are paying you money, but also maybe people that you pay money to, maybe vendors, right? Or people that you work for, or your team members. Hospitality is hugely important. What is their welcome experience like? One of the things that we do for clients is we work on welcome experiences. We call it onboarding. If you're from the corporate world, they call it onboarding. When you're bringing people into your group, what is that like? What is that experience like? In sales, a lot of times they have a sales experience and then they hand off to somebody else who actually does some of the other work. And so in that experience, what's that like for the customer? What kind of things are you creating? Be sure you've got gifts of encouragement, add that in. And we're not talking little secret, an extra hint here. When you come up with gifts of encouragement, or that you're coming with onboarding boxes and stuff, which again is something else we talk about, when you're coming up with that, it's not a nice to have. It's not a part of your marketing budget where you just check it off. This is something of how you do business. And that matters so much to your clients, right? Because they've come to expect it. Again, you're giving them something to talk about. When it's something that is this, wow, they thought of me and they're helping me. And you can map it out. You are here. They need to know where they are within your whole experience, right? Share your story. People want to be a part of your story more than they want to be a part of your brand. This is one of those areas where you can tell your story. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Who else does this helping to support? We all love a good backstory. We all love the story, Tom's shoes and all of the different things. We love those backstories because that brings us into what's happening in the business. Facilitate community. Have a community, even if it's a Facebook group, even if you do retreats once a year. Support that community because that makes a huge difference. And that's going to increase your client retention. And there's we can talk a whole day about client retention. If you're just starting out on your business, you're like, oh, I don't need to worry about that because I don't have clients yet. I don't have customers yet. You do need to worry about it. You need to worry about it from the beginning, because if you bake that into your program or your product or whatever that experience is, if you bake it in there, then later on, when you ask them for the next thing, when you ask them to VIP, take a drink here real quick. When you ask them to join your VIP program, it's already there. It's already built in. Gratitude. Gratitude is amazing. And it's a way to say thank you, right? Thank you for doing business with me. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for taking care of our business. Those are the things that you want to really look at. Again, gratitude gifts. Think about what can you give? It doesn't have to be crazy expensive, but it has to mean something. Back to our M&Ms, meaningful and memorable. Measure everything that way. Look for your pathways to success. They need to know you are here, you are going here, this is where you're going to end up. They need to know that. It doesn't need to be a surprise, right? It doesn't need to be like one day you just wake up and you're the butterfly and you had no idea what was coming. That's a fun surprise, but it's really not really necessarily the wow that you want to add forth. They want to be looking forward to something. You want to pick positive people. You want to use encouraging language that really helps them to build that next step, right? Helps them to figure out where can they go with you and how can you be grateful and how can you express that gratitude once they get there? Know why they stay. Oh my gosh, I can tell you stories where I've joined groups that 6 months into the group program, they say, oh, we're not going to do this one thing anymore. We've decided it's too much work. It's too much trouble. That may have been the very thing that I joined that group for. I've had that happen several times, and I'm sure you all have experiences that way too. Build your community, but communicate with your community. Let them know. Reward often for people being within the community. Understand what that's like for them, that they have a place to go. Your VIP experiences, those are things that can be extra special. They can be retreats. They can be add-ons to your business so that you're encouraging more money, but for a bigger and better experience. Show that you care, right? And it may be, let me tell you, and I love this when we're really talking about building, and exchanging and stuff, the hospitality. I've got a client that was telling me in his hometown, there is a automobile station that comes in and they fix your tires and they do all of the pieces and stuff to the vehicles and you get your oil changed there, you get all these things. Well, they decided that they would do an activity. You'd think like, okay, well, what's somebody like that? What are they going to be able to offer that's going to create community, right? Because it's just, we're all getting our tires changed and our oil changed on Saturday morning. We went in and out and let's go. They actually took the time to develop a secondary program where they come in for women only. They do a women's night that they bring the women in. They talk about, they have wine and cheese. People bring their girlfriends. They all get together for this activity because it's an event, right? It's an experience. They all get together and they talk about car stuff. They talk about changing tires. They talk about doing some stuff that other women, when they're around, it might be something that would be like, I don't know how to do that. I'm just going to call AAA or, do whatever. But there might be things that you can do to keep you from having to call AAA. And they've incorporated that into their program. And so now once a quarter, they have these women to get together and they talk about it and they bring more people and they show video of all the cool, fun things that they're doing. And that brings in more people, right? So you have to look at things just a little bit differently to figure out how can you build a community and what can you do to help them stay and bring other people. We're going to talk about connection outreach. Oh my gosh. And y'all, I appreciate y'all sticking with me and stuff. We're doing great on time. I think we're going to do really well with it. But I'm super excited to talk about this third piece because this is the piece that you want to talk about. Who are your customers, right? Do you know them? I want you to know who their names are, right? And sometimes we think at the beginning, I said, people will say, oh, I'm going to do some of this stuff when I'm bigger. There are things that you can do with 25 customers that you can't do with 1,000 customers, right? Now, just think about that for a minute. If you had 25 people come over to your house for dinner, that'd be a lot of people, right? But we might think that 25, when influencers out there have thousands and thousands of followers and people, but are they their real people, right? Are they the people that you know them? Do you know their names? Do you know what they do? Do you know what their dreams are and what they care about? Because that's going to help you to create things that they care about. Just like with the automotive shop, right? The same type thing. Find out what they care about, right? And how you can supply these extra wow things that nobody else in your business is doing, right? You're going to stand out just because you're offering an amazing customer experience, right? Are you excited about that? I mean, there's things that you can do to really connect with your people. Who should they know when you're connecting people? Build some introductions. Who can you introduce them to, right? I talk my coffee and donuts all the time. So you have the coffee. Who has the donuts, right? Who has something else that would go along with your product that's not the same thing, but absolutely makes sense that you would build a partnership with them, right? Then you can tell other people about them. Help your customers connect within each other. James, do you know John? John does this thing. You should know all the things. Help them to build the bigger dreams. If somebody in your group, and this comes from a long time sales experience years ago, but if somebody in your group wants to own a brand new Jeep and they're excited about doing business so that they can maybe buy this new Jeep and they've never driven a Jeep, you could make that happen for them where they could go and test drive a Jeep. You could encourage them to do some of the things that's going to help them to do business with you, right? So if you have a sales team and they have big, audacious dreams, help them to at least touch those dreams once in a while. It's fun to build the dream board. It's fun for all that, but get out and actually live it and see what that feels like. And I encourage you to do the same thing because you don't know, if you have these big ideas and stuff, if you've never owned or been inside a Prevost coach, get down to the sales center and let's see what that looks like. Or, riding around in the Sprinter van, which costs more than what the Prevost coach used to cost. Drive around, test drive it, see what that's like for you. Help them to help you. Let them talk about you, right? And we say, doesn't people just talk about you? They don't. You need to teach how you need testimonials. I was invited into a retreat in Salt Lake City, Utah. I love telling this story. I went, arrived there at night, had never been there before, had never seen Salt Lake, still hadn't seen it because it was dark and there was nothing to see in the dark when you fly into Salt Lake City. So I got my bags out of the airport and got them to my Uber. The Uber driver loaded my luggage. We sat down and started visiting. I'll talk to anybody. And we started talking about the fact that I had never been to Salt Lake. Well, he did something that was so unique. He started showing me and telling me, you see that strip of lights over there? That's where they have the tabernacle. That's where the tabernacle is. Do you see that strip of lights over here? These red lights? That's where they come in and they build in the salt mines. This Salt Lake City, who would have thought they had salt mines? But he told all of the stories in this 45-minute drive to the location. He gave me this site-by-site, just by lights, let me know what Salt Lake looked like. It was so much fun. We had just the best time. So when we got done, I did all the little Uber stuff on my app, gave him his tip, but I asked him, I said, okay, this was an amazing trip. Is there something that I can offer you? Is there something that I can do to help you for your business? What can I do? What kind of encouragement can I give you? What kind of things can I do? Can I do a testimonial? You could tell by the look on his face, nobody had ever asked him that, right? He was not prepared to ask what it was that I could have done for him, right? And I wrote him a blank check, basically. I would have done a TikTok crazy funny video thing for him. I would have done whatever. It was a really, really good time, but like he got his tip, and that was fine. But I would have been really wanting to wow him as well, but he wasn't prepared. Know what it is that you need from your people. Know what it is you can ask from them. How do you ask them? Ask for referrals. Sometimes we don't. We do good business and we don't ask for the referrals. Know who your raving fans are, because they're the ones that are going to be referring you. You need to encourage them, right? You need to give back. So I'm going to tell you that what if instead of worrying about the competition, right? Stick with me. We focused on delivering an amazing customer experience, right? In this day and age, it's not about the best price, right? We're not trying to be Walmart. We're not wanting to do that. We want to give them back more than they asked for, more than they paid for. We want to give them something that they can come to expect from us and how we do business, right? We want to bring on your wow factor, right? And I'm going to encourage you, start thinking about it. If I keep you up tonight thinking of all the things that you can possibly do, I've done my job here. And that's been part of being a part of the Noble family and really connecting with our people and really understanding that this is something that we want to bring to the table. And maybe you're not ready for this, but maybe you belong to a group that is, right? Maybe you belong to another group. Maybe there's somebody you can be telling about the wow factor, right? And the crazy lady that comes from Missouri talking about the wow factor. These are the things that we want to do. I'm going to offer you a special deal, and I want to hear what you're up to. So maybe you're just starting out. I want everybody to go ahead and take our phones out. We haven't been able to play with our phones for 45 minutes. I appreciate that. Nobody's done that. Take your phone, put it on your camera mode, and just point it at the screen. And you're going to get a yellow button that pops up. Click that and jump into my wow factors that we talk about how we create wow factors and how we help clients to do that, right? And you may not be ready. I have a book you can buy. You can read it in your own time when you have that. I have things that you can connect with. I'll jump on a call with you. We'll sit and talk 15 minutes about what you're up to, what kind of activities you have for your clients and all of that. And again, I want to thank you all very much for being here today. This was a fantastic. I had a really good time. I hope you at least had a few laughs here and there. And I really, really enjoyed. Jeff, thank you so much for inviting me in. And I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, gosh, I couldn't take notes fast enough. That was awesome. I want to open it up for some questions. And by the way, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jeff Elder, and I'm one of the leaders here at Noble, and I help kind of organize these online events for Noble. So I see some new faces on, so welcome. Thank you for being here, and just want to let you know who I am. So just one comment, and then I want to kind of get your aha moments. But this is something I wish I would have known early on in my business. It really is. I think it would have made a huge difference if I understood what Tammy was teaching today. And I appreciate what she said about don't think that you're too small. Don't think that even though you may be just starting your business, that it's too soon to learn how to do this. Because Starbucks and Apple and these big brands, they know how to do this, because we may get upset with them, but guess what? We always end back, we end up back there, don't we? And so there's something to be said about this creating this brand experience that people just can't get out of. So thank you, Tammy, for your. I just ordered her book, so I'm excited to get that and to just learn more. But I want to open it up really quick. What are some of your aha moments that you got from this presentation? Do you have any questions that you may have for Tammy? Now is the time. We'll have a few minutes to answer questions or just share some of your aha moments.
Hi, how are you? I am your former roommate. We were roommates for a speakers academy in Atlanta. And I have a question. How do you have any suggestions or ways to wow an audience on the telephone?
Oh, absolutely. I will tell you, it's funny. And part of its personality, I'll gather that. I talk to people when they're the wrong number. People will call me and we'll have these whole conversations. When I talk to customer service, and this is a good place to practice this too, is when you're talking to someone in customer service. That is sometimes one of the worst jobs that people can have, because they get yelled at a lot. They get all of the things. They have all this stuff. I will tell you, I've had people send me things after I've gotten off the phone with them, free samples or whatever, just because I really like to make them laugh. I really like to, so we're having a good time. When I say, even if I'm upset with the cable company, we're having problems. But when I get somebody on the phone, I'm talking to them in encouraging language. And I'm saying, people will say, how are you doing? I say, I'm living the dream all the time. I'm just, and that makes them laugh. Or I say, can you help me with this? What can you do for me? And if they can't, then I find somebody else that can. But I go through and I ask them, I want you to help me. Can you do me a favor? This is what I need you to do. And so when we're talking to people on the phone, when you're doing sales calls, I don't know if is that what you're talking about? It's like thinking about sales calls. So
yeah, just connecting for the first time, when people say yes, or they saw your product, they just have your business card and they call, not just necessarily a sales call per se, but your first encounter with someone on the phone. How can you just out the gate? Wow. And I like that. Living a dream. I like that.
It is the living the dream. How can you build a difference for them? One of the first things when I get on a sales call, and if we do a coffee chat, right? Even in a coffee chat, there's not a sales pitch. There's not anything unless we get to that point. But most of the time, I start off by asking them about them first. Okay. I don't leave it as being something that is this. Again, I go for the laughs because that's me and it's my personality and it's how my brand works. But I will tell people all the time, and again, I'll repeat myself. If you want to jump on a coffee chat, we'll talk. You'll hear me say, tell me about you and things I can't learn about you on Facebook, right? Because people think all my stuff's out there.
That's good.
But it's looking at those pieces, like what can you tell me? And I get all kinds of stuff. I get that information, and I'm able to utilize that information as we move forward, creating the relationship. It's not just about all the fluff, because at some point you're going to say, hey, I'm making a living here, and the electric company doesn't buy thumbs ups. I can't pay my electric bill that way. So, it is one of those things that we're looking for, but it's people you want to do business with. You want to like these people. I have clients when I was in the design business for 30 years. I quit doing a lot of design stuff myself, but I still have a few clients that still pay me to do design stuff because we're friends. I like them. I want to see them succeed, and I know their business, and I don't want them to have to train somebody else. So I still do some of those things, even if my business has pivoted, because I enjoy the people I work with. And that's the big part. Those are the people you're looking for. You don't want to push a wet rope, right? You don't want to have to figure out how to do business with people that you don't like doing business with. That's not why we do business, right? We quit that job. We don't do that job anymore.
So in ending, I am so proud of you. I am so proud.
Thank you so much.
Just for time, we're gonna I want to allow time for other questions too. So yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Is my name up, Deborah?
Deborah.
There I am. I have a quick question. I want to reach out to people online only. My product is a product that I want to sell online around the world. What's the best approach, since I'm not going to be talking to them on a phone? What do you suggest?
What do you sell? What are you selling?
It's a household item for people in the it's a household item for men, women, and children that keeps their clothes from getting wet. And it's called Sink Sleeves, and it's on the it's just a product. It's a brand new product.
I love that. My husband is a potter, so I could totally get that. So
Yeah.
we need some of those because his sleeves get wet all the time. It's looking at those pieces of where you can serve and how that makes a difference to their lives. And you find those people where they're at, right? Are your people hanging out on Facebook? Are your people Instagram people? Are your people, where are they at? And you start looking for them there and learning how you connect with them. You need to find, don't look at it like you're going to retire and don't build it so big that you're thinking all out here. Think about the one person that you could make a difference to that would be really good for this product. Like, what is the person that does that? Where are they reaching into? Are they swimming pool commando boys? I don't know. Are they things that you're doing? Who are those people that are going to do that? Find that one customer, because once you're working with that one customer, then you can expand beyond that. Doesn't mean you can't sell to everybody. Doesn't mean that that's a thing. But I'll tell you what, from a marketing perspective, and like I said, I'll try to watch my time. From a marketing perspective, getting it narrowed down to one person, one place, and market to them is cheaper than trying to market to everybody. And I'll give you a really good example of that is razors. When you sell some razors to a woman and you sell razors to a man, it's completely different marketing. So who is it that you're going to market to that can use your product? This is the one thing. You could probably, like I said, if you nail down one type of person, one something that they did either household wise or even in a business scenario, narrow down that one person, find out where they are online and have conversations with them in the DMs, right? Have conversations like, this is what I want to do. Maybe you do test products. Maybe you send out a few, and then you get video back, you get things that way that really concrete that online presence. Maybe that helps. Thanks, Deborah.
Thank you.
So we have time for maybe one more question for Tammy. Any other questions?
I got one for Tammy. Tammy, what if the product is yourself? In other words, I do teaching and consulting. So basically, I am the product. What would you suggest I should do to make myself more valuable than an actual physical product?
I've been doing design, which like I said, is more of a service, and I do a lot of service based. And I'm going to guess that's similar, that you're saying that you're in a service industry.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So the thing with that is this: focus on the end result first. Don't think about you. Think about them and what they get. When you've had your best client, right? At the end of working with you, ask them, what did you get by working with me? Right? Were they more self-aware? Were they more, did their mindset change? There's a lot of different things that can happen as they work with you. Once you figured out what it is, the results that you delivered, if you think that that's what you want to deliver consistently, and this is who you want them to be, then you find a way to go through and look at what does it look like when they're in the middle of the program? What does it look like at the beginning of the program? And can you add extra pieces to that make it make sense, right? So it might be something that as a part of a service, this is the service, but you're going to have an onboarding process, right? So we do onboarding. Onboarding could look like a planner, a notebook for them to keep track of their success while they're working with you. It could be a book that you give from somebody else. You don't even have to have written a book. I wrote a book, right? I wrote the Wow Factor. But it doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. I encourage everyone to write a book, and there's a whole story about why you should do that. And it's not probably what you think. But when you're building your business, even with the services, there are things that remind them of the services, right, that you could deliver as part of your onboarding packaging. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do I get them to give me testimonials? Is that part of the service industry that works well for you?
Oh, absolutely. And I, sometimes it's super easy to get testimonials, but a lot of times you have to ask. And like I said, I have a whole chapter in the book about it, but just a real quick synopsis. Ask them, for the people that you've done successful stuff for, ask them, what was it like before? There's even like a series of questions you can get, and you can Google machine a lot of this, but you can ask them specific questions that help lead you to the answers. Know what answer you want, right? You want more people to give you money or join your program because you really focus on mindset change, right? So if that's the case, then that's the answer that you want them to give you. So you need to ask the question so that that's the answer that you get, because those are the more people that you want to work with, right? And it's what messaging you're putting out there, Larry. And like I said, we can jump on a call anytime, but I think that the main thing is figuring out who your people are, right? And then asking them, find out the testimony, give them an end sheet. If you really want to go deep with it, Alexa, stop. She's always interrupting me. When you're working through your program, make this a part of your program so that it's easy for you, so you're not thinking about it later. When they finish working with you and you say thank you very much, or you're moving them to a new program or whatever that is, have an offboarding, right? Having a moment to say, what was your experience like, good, bad, and ugly? Let me know. And go through that with them with a 5 or 10 minute phone call just to see what those are, and write that down. Anytime somebody writes something for you on Facebook, we do that. We don't even think about it. Somebody's like, oh my gosh, Larry's amazing. Screenshot that, Larry. Put that in your stuff, because that's something that's it's proven there. You didn't even have to ask for it.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna have to close it there. But again, I had an opportunity to kind of do a one-on-one with her, and again, she blew my mind, and even though we resonate on a lot of this stuff, there are some good ideas that she gave me. So do take advantage of that. You'll get a lot in that 15 minutes. So in closing here, we just have a few announcements I want to run through, and then we're gonna call it a day, and you guys can all get on to what you have in store for the rest of the day. So number one, just want to talk about some upcoming events. Our next forum will be on February 23rd. This is another lady I had an opportunity to kind of have a one-on-one with, and oh my goodness, I am excited about this one, because who on this call has not ever or isn't currently dealing with that whole imposter syndrome? right? I mean, I know I do. Who am I? Who am I to be doing this? Who's gonna listen, right? All that stuff. And so Sharon's gonna come and talk to us about how we actually overcome that imposter syndrome. So I'm really excited about that call on the 23rd. And then Brian's on the call today, so he will be doing a live hybrid event this coming Saturday at Noble at Oasis Church, and he's going to be talking about strengthening relationships, harnessing emotional intelligence for business and life success. And I had an opportunity to sit down with him, and he was kind of showing me some of his slides. I don't know if it's going to be the same slides, Brian, that you were showing me when I was at your house, but I'm really excited about this upcoming event this Saturday as well. Like I said, it is live, but it's also hybrid, so you can join us via Zoom. It will be online. So 2 great events. And then really quick, don't forget to visit our website for upcoming events and just get more information about Noble. We're also on LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel that where we post these events, the videos from these events. So make sure you head over there. And if you have not done so already, go ahead and give it a like and follow. Then you have not already subscribed to the motivational emails that I send out 3 times a week. That's the code to sign up to receive those. And that was a lot very fast, but Susie does an amazing job sending out emails about upcoming events. So, Susie, just want to publicly say, like, thank you for all you do behind the scenes, just keeping all this moving and making sure people know where to show up. And Noble wouldn't. Anyway, we love you, Susie, and thank you for everything that you do. So with that, thank you so much, Tammy, again for your presentation. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next event. God bless you guys, and go out and make a difference. Bye.
Thank you, Tammy. So many good things.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Great. Bye-bye.
Bye.